why are you here, who you here to support, every single one of them. Clix. Just know that even if you do beat them, they're still probably going to get the better than a stick, which mentally can have a negative effect.
So for Clix and Veno, I think a lot of people also wrongly assume that, like, a lot of especially my chat, they're like, yeah, but they would have gone Forecast Tower if they were on con, and that's why they did badly. Like, I don't think there's a world where Clix and Veno would have gone Forecast Tower, regardless, in that tournament. Like, you can say Veno can land on the mountain, shoot up Poyo and Peterbot's pad, and that would have been the end of it. But, like, Peterbot and Poyo were still going to go for that pad regardless, right? They're going to go for those objectives that they wanted to. And at a certain point, Clix and Veno would have realized, yeah, this just isn't worth it ruining our game fighting Peterbot and Poyo because they're just going to have scan coin and better shield and better mats more than us, and they're going to be there faster most of the time as well, even if you're solo on the mountain. So them not getting forecast out wasn't the issue in that tournament. And I think BloodX had a very good point when he was streaming, like you said, Harry, is that because everybody to the east is trading Surge, so you had Redline trading Surge with Brutal, and then you had Brutal trading Surge with another team, and then another team, and then Prism and Casper trading Surge with another team. It creates sort of like a domino effect on the right side of the map where all of these teams are set up for Surge with each other, so that when you're now late to rotate in and you have a team ahead of you, you don't have that much opportunity. And you saw that adjustment in day number 2 where Clix and Veno said, fuck it, we're just W keying the beach. Cheaps and I almost said Yomzo, RIP. But Cheaps and
Crisp.
What, who?
Crisp.
Crisp. I completely. Yeah, I mean they were pretty invisible that tournament. But yeah, Cheaps and Crisp, day 2 were just the bully of Clix and Veno. Every game, this felt like they were just on their head. So that was the adjustment that they had to make, is fight another team on that side of the zone. But like, there's not really much options, especially considering the way that they play the game. They want to play Storm. They rely on very early Storm Surge to get things, and when you don't get that opportunity, you're pretty much cooked. You don't have much. Combine that with 4 zone pools. And then, you have a result where you get 11th. Pretty much, I don't remember a single Clix and Veno endgame. I think majority of day number 1, it was just top 11, top 15, top 10, something like that, right? Where they made it to endgame. They successfully made it out and they survived Surge, but they made it to endgame with 150 mats, 200 mats in total. And then they get lobby swayed and one of them dies, and then it's just cooked. So I don't think there was a world, when they get contested there, I don't think there's a world where they ever compete for top 5. It's just too difficult from that spot.
Yeah. The only world is if Raft wasn't going for forecast. Like, that's the only world. If you didn't have Peterbot and Poyo there who were just going for forecast every single game and you had another team, like maybe. But when you have literally every hill is taken in like 3 minutes, 4 minutes into the game, you have to loot for 2 minutes and then fight after that. It's like, the fact they got where they finished in the end, was it 11th?
11th,
like, that is, I think that's an overperformance based on their situation, to be honest.
Honestly, probably, yeah. You know, right. Speaking to Veno about like in between the days, you could tell like with the way Resigns and Demos were playing the off spawn, being consistent in general, and how those guys were just playing it, they didn't have a plan. Like, they didn't know what to do. And they sort of had to go into day 2 and drastically change things up. It's unfortunate because I would have loved to see a world where they would have gotten to play things out. I still had concerns about what they would have done, right? Like, even if they were uncon, there were things that for me just felt a bit like, what do we do here? Especially since jetpacks got removed. But like, it sucks. Speaking of a bit away from like the actual in-game aspect of it itself, being in the arena, you speak to every single kid in there. You ask them, why are you here? Who you here to support? Every single one of them clicks. So much dreaming merch, so much exit merch, so many people showing up just to see Clix, just with the hope of seeing Clix do well. And, this is one of the best chances they'll probably ever get to have seen Clix do really well at a LAN. And it just like sucks that like it didn't work out for them. And they weren't like really in the running, because it would have been special for him and for all the fans that showed up to see him there.
It was the perfect setting.
Yeah, it was a perfect setting, and there's kind of 2 points in that. The first one is that, like, as shit as it is, it's just one of those Fortnite things where Resigns and Demo, are they really going to con like nothing to the west of the map? And they go, well, we split from this drop spot. They came 33rd, which is,
much better than
highest OC placement.
With the highest OC placement, The rest were literally 50 and 45th and like 44th or something. So like
9th.
Yeah, as much as we mock OCE, like I don't even believe it was the wrong play. It's just one of those things where you have a team who qualified from a specific drop spot. It's probably their best option to land there, and it just ends up being is what it is. My other thought, though, is what happens if they didn't do that? Because, we think about where would Veno place in the leaderboard, and, he has a much better chance at, maybe a top 3, or, maybe there's a chance at winning. But what if they were on con and they were able to maybe go for a forecast a game or two that then Peterbot and Poyo weren't? Maybe those were the crazy games that they were able to, use forecasts to split all those zones and all this kind of stuff. And I wonder, like, if what kind of impact that Resigns and Demo had landing at that drop spot and contesting Clix actually had onto like the top of the leaderboard, not even just like Peterbot, or not even just Veno and Clix themselves.
OC mattered.
OC mattered. I think, I mean, it's crazy. All these small little stories add up, because you talked about Teeny, and now you're talking about them landing Nitrodome and how much that changed a lot of landing spot situations. And yeah, I mean, it is a weird one, because I wonder what the knock-on effect is into next globals, right? You're seeing Alex and Worthy, overall, even though they didn't place well, beat Malibuca and Mustache. You're seeing Damon Resigns get a good placement out of contesting Clix and Veno. Lower minor region teams going to be scared to contest big teams nowadays? Like, I'm interested to see what their mindset's going to be, because, I mean, it was if I think contesting mid map's never a good idea, but if you're beating Malibuca and Mustache, who we all said is one of the best, we thought is one of the best off-spawn teams in EU, and you're beating them, or going even at least, I mean, what else do you have to really be afraid of at this point?
Well, I also think we should caveat that, because I know me and Reese always put emphasis on this, because I remember when we were analysts together, or something we always had to sort of highlight. Malibuca and Mustache are a good off-spawn team in the sense of, like, they're going to do decent in the games they get. Like, in recent years, most of the time, it's, like, relatively even. Most people, they fight off-spawn, right? So it's like, if you're going to, like, do you know what I mean? Yeah, like, if you're going to, I feel like there's less of a reason to fear them off-spawn, but, like, just know that even if you do beat them, they're still probably going to get the better than a stick, which mentally can have a negative effect that you don't want to deal with, right? Like, we've seen that with other teams as well. Like, Pink talked about it with Acorn and Cold last year's Globals, right? Like, it can just be demoralizing when you're conning a team and they are, like, near the top of the leaderboard and you're just not.
Yeah.
But, like, they can be had. I do agree with you, though. I think moving forward, yeah, like, smaller region teams are, especially like OC teams, are going to use Resigns and Demo to justify, like, why they would want to con a team. It was like, hey, we landed here, or yeah. It'll be interesting, though, because, again, going into trios, like, off-spawn dynamics of trios, like, can be more intricate and fun to play with. It's not as straightforward or as cookie cutter sometimes as, like, some of these duo splits have been off-spawn. So it'll get interesting for sure. It'll get very interesting next year.